Hey guys, this is Miss April from Cedar Fort Baptist Church, and we're here doing the CIA lesson tonight. Stubbs has joined me again, and we're glad to have you, Stubbs.
Glad to be here.
Okay, so as you can see, we are under my Easter tree. See my Easter eggs hanging in the tree? So this Saturday from 1 to 4, we're going to do a virtual Easter egg hunt, okay? So I want you to get in your car and drive around the Cedar Fort community, wherever you want to drive around. And I want you to hunt for Easter eggs hanging in the tree. When you find them, pull in the driveway, take a picture of them, and text it to me. My number is 340-3887. Did you get that, Stubbs?
Yes.
What's my number?
340-3887.
Okay. The person who texts me the most pictures on Saturday wins a prize, okay? So I want you to get out and hunt for those eggs. You only have from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., okay? So we're going to have a little competition running around.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, guys who have been in my class before, you know what this is, my little resurrection eggs. They tell the story of Jesus being crucified and his resurrection. Have you ever seen these before, Stubbs?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's see what's in our first egg. And you might hear some cars go by. I'm sorry for that interruption. Okay, so here we have a blue egg. That's our first egg. Let's see what's in there. What is that?
That's a donkey.
A donkey. Okay, so what does a donkey have to do with Jesus and the resurrection?
Jesus was not a donkey.
Jesus was not a donkey. But Jesus rode in on a donkey to Jerusalem. Now at this point, he up until now, he had sort of kept it a secret that he was God's son and that he was a Messiah. He had gone around and had performed many miracles, but up until now, he wasn't really calling himself the Messiah. So, whenever he rides in on a donkey, it's like everybody realizes that this is Jesus. He is our King. He is the one God has sent to save us. And so they lined the streets and they put down palm leaves and garments, and he walked in and they were cheering and they were so excited to see Jesus because they realized that he was there to save them. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah.
So all that happened on Palm Sunday, which was last Sunday. Next, we have some money. Pink egg, we have
money.
we have some silver coins here. Okay, so these coins, do you remember in the story who got the coins?
The Romans?
The Romans paid Judas. Now, Judas was one of Jesus's disciples, and he betrayed Jesus, and he told the Romans where they could find him. So I want you to remember this, because this is a big part of the story. The Romans didn't know where to find Jesus. They were going to arrest him and they didn't know where to find him. And so Judas turned him in to the Roman soldiers. Okay, our next egg is a purple egg. Isn't that pretty?
Ooh, pretty.
Okay, here we have...
It looks like my nose.
Yeah. Here we have a cup. So this is to signify the Last Supper, where Jesus meets, we talked about it last week, where Jesus meets with his disciples and he washes their feet and he tells them that whenever you eat this bread, you're eating of my body, and whenever you drink this wine, you're drinking of my body. So this signifies the blood that Jesus shed on the cross for us. They celebrated that in the Last Supper. Okay, orange eggs is next. Oh, here we have some praying hands. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, praying hands. What did Jesus do after the Last Supper? He went off to the garden to pray, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
He prayed all night long. all night long. Can you imagine praying that long? I would probably fall asleep. But Jesus, the disciples fell asleep on him, didn't
Yep.
he? Yep. But Jesus prayed all night long because he knew what was going to happen the next day. Do you remember what was going to happen the next day?
Yes, he was going to be crucified.
Yes. Okay, so our next egg is the green one. Here is a leather whip.
Oh, no.
So after the Romans arrested Jesus, they beat him
Oh,
with a leather whip.
that's not good.
No, it's not good. And it hurt. It was painful. And they did all kinds of terrible, painful things to him. But he knew that he had to suffer through all that so that we would be saved. Okay, the next egg is a yellow one.
Ooh,
Oh, here we have a crown of thorns.
thorns.
That's what they put on Jesus' head. You think that felt good?
No.
No.
No,
No,
not
that
at all.
hurt. And he had to wear that all day long.
Yikes.
Okay, next one is another orange egg. It's a lighter orange. So here we have a cross made out of nails. So whenever they hung him on the cross, Stubbs, they drove nails into his wrist and into his feet.
Ooh,
And that's the only thing that was keeping him up there on that cross. You think that was comfy?
no.
No.
Not at all.
No. He had to hang there for a long time. Here's our next egg. Oh, it's a dice. You ever play
What?
games with dice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but why did they have it? Why?
Well, the Roman soldiers would roll this dice and they would gamble to see who got Jesus's garments.
Oh.
They
That's-
thought it was a big game.
Oh, no, that's not good.
So they would gamble and see who was going to take home his garments.
That's not good at all.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have a spear. So while he's hanging on the cross, he's already been beaten, Stubbs. He's already got a crown of thorns on his head. He's probably hungry and thirsty and very weak because he's been hanging up there all day.
Ooh.
And so then the Roman soldiers take a spear just like this and shove it into his side.
Ah,
Imagine that was very
Ouch.
painful and it made it
Ouch.
hard to breathe.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then our next egg. Okay, so Jesus finally dies. After all that torment and suffering, he finally dies.
Mm.
And they take his body and they wrap it in white linen.
Yeah.
Now, whenever people were buried during those times, they didn't bury them like in a cemetery like we do today. They would find a cave in the side of the mountain.
Yep.
And they would
They
place...
cover the entrance with stones.
Yes, yes. They would place the body in there. They would put all this perfume stuff on and wrap it in cloth. And then they would cover the opening of the cave with a stone so that no animals or anything like that could get in there to it. And here is our next egg is the stone.
It's the stone, yeah.
That's what they put in front of the
We were
doorway.
just talking about that.
Uh-huh. Now, whenever Jesus died and they buried him in the tomb, they actually put Roman guards on duty at the opening of the tomb so that nobody would come and steal his body.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So after Jesus died on Good Friday, and then they buried him, and then they went all day Saturday and they mourned and they were so sad because their Savior had been killed. And then on Sunday morning, the ladies that loved Jesus, they went to go put more perfume on him and do all these ritual things that they did for a dead body. And whenever they got to the tomb, guess what?
last egg. Oh, what's in it? Oh,
It's
empty. Empty.
The tomb was empty.
Oh, I get
Isn't that
it.
amazing? The guards had been knocked out. The angels were sitting there.
Oh, wow.
And they said our Bible verse. Do you remember what our Bible verse is, kids? Our Bible verse is, He is not here. He has risen, just as He said. Come and see the place where He lay. Matthew 28:6. Thank you, Stubbs. You remembered it. Good
Yep.
job. Okay. So I love my resurrection eggs. They tell a great story.
They're
But
very
some of the kids last week asked where my drawing was. I didn't know you loved my drawing so good.
good. Oh, yeah.
So here is our drawing that's going up on the wall whenever we get back to church.
Ooh, pretty.
Here's Christ in the middle. Here's Jesus hanging on the cross. And on either side of him, he's got two thieves that were crucified with him. Okay? So one of these thieves, he sees Jesus and he sees that he is the Messiah. And he believes that he is Jesus, the Son of God. And he tells Jesus, he says, "Oh, I believe you say you are who you are." And then Jesus tells him that today you will be with me in paradise. And then on this next cross is a thief who says, "Why don't you save yourself? If you're the king of the Jews, save yourself." And Jesus knows that he has to pay our debt because, see, we are sinful. Stubbs, we are sinful. We're rotten. And in order for us to be in heaven with Jesus, because Jesus and God does not like sin, nobody can be sinful around Jesus. And in order for us to be in heaven with Jesus, our sin has to be paid for. All of our wrongdoings has to be paid for. So Jesus paid our debt by dying on the cross for us. Next, this little drawing is the resurrection. See, the stones rolled away, and here's my funny little angels here. He's saying, He is not here. He is risen. This is such a good story, guys. This is probably one of my favorite stories in the whole Bible. Okay, so this week we are going to pray for 3 different categories of people. Let me turn my light on so you can see it. We're going to pray for Pastor Sandy,
Yes.
because he's been feeling all right this week and he's still sending us sermons and stuff. We're going to pray for our healthcare workers, anybody that has to work at a hospital or a doctor's office. We're going to pray for them, that God protects them so that they don't get sick. And we're going to pray for our farmers, because our farmers grow the food we eat, and it ends up in the grocery store or ends up in our freezers, and we are so thankful that we have them.
And we need farmers.
We do need farmers. So those are the 3 folks we're going to pray for this week, okay? All right, so Saturday, I can't wait to see all of your pictures and get your text and figure out who's going to win our virtual Easter egg hunt, okay? All right, tell them bye, Stubbs.
Bye.
All right, see you Saturday.